Right now, stop.
Get ready for some heart-stopping action as we take you through 30 of the most disturbing bear encounters ever recorded. From grizzlies invading people's homes to black bears breaking into cars, these thrilling moments are not for the faint of heart and remind us exactly why these majestic beasts are not to be trifled with. Imagine waking up in the morning and going outside to witness the beautiful sunrise, only to be greeted by a very unwelcome guest lurking right under your terrace. The black bear seems to have wandered out of the woods looking for food. But don't let its calm demeanor fool you. This bear means business and will do anything to satiate its hunger. A bear under your terrace is all fun and games, until it climbs up the ledge and invades your home. And even though the man is quick to run and close his glass door, we all know that's never enough when it comes to these beasts. Speaking of bears breaking through glass, here's a perfect example of why you shouldn't incur the wrath of these majestic beasts of nature. The bear had snuck into the minivan earlier, and with the doors locked behind it, the owner thought it'd be a good idea to help the beast escape. But of course, a massive black bear doesn't need any help breaking out of a car. The bear smashing its way out of the minivan is one thing. But what's even scarier is that the beast doesn't look fazed at all, casually walking off and showing everyone who's boss. Deep in the woods, a funeral procession makes its way to the graveyard, when the solemn atmosphere is disrupted by a terrifying presence in the distance. The bear doesn't look aggressive, but that doesn't make it any less dangerous. If anything, there's a real possibility that the beast is calculating its next move, looking for an opening as people shout and whistle to scare it off. Chaos ensues as the bear charges the funeral procession. But despite the beast's aggression, the sheer number of people shouting is too high for it to follow through with its attack. In Alberta, Canada, a couple of tourists make their way along a hiking trail when they're stopped by a black bear. What's particularly scary about this situation, however, is that the bear keeps closing in on them.
No way, man. We're not good. We can't do this.
The question is, what would you do in this situation? Because these guys think pleading with the bear and trying to talk it out is the way to go, which, of course, doesn't exactly work.
Back. Stay. That's it. That's as far as you're going. Stop. Stop. Right now, stop.
The bear doesn't look fazed by their presence at all. In fact, the beast asserts its dominance by pushing them off its territory. Not to mention, the bear could easily obliterate them both if it wanted.
That's cool, buddy boy. You just keep doing that. Man, stay away from me, though. Stay away. Stay away.
The bizarre saga continues for over 5 minutes, and at this point the tourist is ready for the bear to pounce on him. So now, with this life and death situation, there is only one thing left to do. Run!
Resuming workout.
What would you do if a black bear casually wandered onto your porch while you were there? Well, this guy thinks the bear's his friend, even going so far as to greet it like a pet.
Oh, so I'm just reading a book. And hello. What's up?
To be fair, the bear isn't aggressive and could just be scouring the neighborhood for food. But while it may look like a friendly encounter, things are about to get a lot more dangerous.
There's little babies. There are little babies.
It's not just any black bear. It's a mother with the cubs behind her. And that's not a situation you want to be in, because mother bears are super protective of their cubs and don't hesitate to attack anyone who gets near them.
Hey, boo-boo. Oh my god. Holy shit.
One erratic movement and this guy's a goner. Witness a bizarre encounter deep in the woods where a photographer is approached by a massive bear.
Все, дальше не надо.
The bear could easily swoop in and decimate the photographer, but it's methodical, taking its time instead. Still, the bear keeps pushing forward and things could go off the rails here any second. Tensions rise as the bear stands on its hind legs, asserting dominance, and now an attack feels inevitable. However, the photographer has one thing that could deter the bear: a hunting rifle.
Я тоже вставать умею на лапы на задние.
Not every bear in the wild is out to turn you into dinner. Some bears just want to be playful and wrestle people. This is Tom, the bear from Russia who's developed a bit of a reputation for being friendly around humans. And even though this looks dangerous, Tom actually loves playing with his handlers. Despite Tom's friendly nature, he's still a bear. And if there's one thing we've learned about these majestic creatures, it's that they don't like to be messed with. Picture this. You've just returned home after a long, exhausting day of work, only to find an absolute mess everywhere. But here's the worst bit. The unwanted guest responsible for the mess is still inside.
Hey! Where'd they go?
A brown bear has found its way into the house, and not only has it wrecked everything, but the beast is actually chowing down on the man's KFC.
Dicker?
There's no solution to this, and the bear owns the house now. Some people just can't help but put themselves in dangerous situations. These tourists, for instance, have just spotted a bear in the distance. But rather than driving away, they've decided to stop and film the beast. Bears are very inquisitive animals and will absolutely inspect any unknown object in their vision. So naturally, the bear starts approaching the car. Now, this is the tourists' chance to drive away, but all they do is roll up their windows. It almost feels like things have calmed down as the bear calmly approaches the car. But while the tourists think they've captured the perfect footage of this friendly little bear, they're in for the shock of a lifetime. And that, folks, is why you don't mess with wild bears. Over in Russia, a construction worker finds himself in a tricky situation as a wild bear tries to climb into his vehicle.
Миша, Миша, привет! О, Миша, тут Куда ты лезешь, дорогой?
Most people would get scared and hide in this situation, but the man has other ideas. He opens his door, almost as if he's inviting the bear. But it doesn't take a genius to figure out why that may not be a good idea.
Миша. Ладно.
He's either the luckiest person alive or a bear whisperer, because not only does the bear not attack him, but the beast walks off after the encounter without an incident.
Ну иди, я тебе конфетку дам, Миша. Иди сюда, на, Миша.
Some people believe that climbing a tree is a decent strategy to avoid a bear in the wild. What they don't realize, however, is that bears are freaks of nature and they can easily climb up as well. The bear slowly inches closer to the man at the top of the tree, but what's really mind-boggling is that the tree isn't falling over. After all, black bears can weigh as much as 300 kilograms, 500 pounds. It's a war of attrition between the bear and the man as they firmly hold on to the tree. But of course, one of them has to yield eventually. Imagine casually lounging in your living room on a bright sunny afternoon when you see a stranger approaching your door. This isn't just any old stranger, though. It's a bear that's wandered out of the woods. Bears are notoriously smart animals and can open doors effortlessly, so the woman's lucky she's got her doors locked because things could have gone very wrong. Still, the bear is outside her house and the saga is not over yet. Thankfully, it's the woman's lucky day, because the bear isn't here for a fight and is just scouring the neighborhood for food. Speaking of bears invading homes, here's a truly daring man who is not afraid of confronting the beast directly when it tries to steal trash from his home. The bear's reaction, however, is even more surprising.
Perkele, siihen et koske, saatana vie. Saatana.
After the initial scare, the bear retreats into the woods and hides behind a tree. But that doesn't mean it's conceded. In fact, the beast is carefully planning its next move, ready to pounce once again.
Tänne näin, paikka. Huuko, paikka. Huuko, paikka. Paikka.
The man is playing with fire as he steps out into the open to take on the bear, and all he's got to defend himself with is a measly broom. The odds are stacked against him, and yet the battle doesn't go the way you'd think. You don't stumble upon a bear while casually driving down the road every day. So when you do, you've got to make the most of it. Under most circumstances, you'd want to roll up your windows to avoid attacks from the bear. These tourists, however, think the bear is friendly, welcoming it with open arms. But while that may seem dangerous, they've got it all covered. The bear's obviously pleased with the snack, but that's where things get tricky. You see, a piece of bread just isn't going to cut it, and the bear needs more food from the tourists. And, to make matters worse, other bears have surrounded the car. It's all fun and games until a bear actually bites your hand off. Bears can surprise you in the most incredible ways. This one, for instance, has made its way into a town to look for food, but it's not wandering around aimlessly. The bear's got its sights set on the SUV, and with the window open, there's a good chance it's going to hop inside. The only tricky thing is that the bear is massive, and the window isn't exactly wide enough for it. As predicted, jumping into an SUV as a 300-kilogram or 500-pound brown bear isn't child's play, but perseverance is the name of the game for this guy, and after continued attempts, the bear pulls off a feat that's nothing short of extraordinary. Incredible scenes are happening in Russia, where a massive brown bear has managed to climb up to the window of a truck and asks for snacks. The encounter is utterly bizarre, because not only is the bear not aggressive, but the truck driver is also surprisingly calm. If anything, he's been waiting for this exact moment. Of course, a single snack is never enough to satiate a massive bear, so now with the beast pestering him for more food, the truck driver's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Trust me, you don't want to anger this bear. In yet another case of people exhibiting foolishly confident behavior around bears, here's a man who thinks it's a good idea to walk outside his house and feed candies to a massive wild bear.
Дай конфетку сейчас. На, сын, на конфетку. Ну, иди сюда.
As we've learned, even if bears seem friendly when you feed them initially, they do not like it when you run out of snacks. So despite his nonchalance, this man's life is in grave danger, and things could go south real quick. But if throwing candies on the ground for the bear wasn't dangerous enough, the man takes things up a notch by hand feeding them to the beast. At that point, you're just asking to be mauled. Witness an incredible scene as a forklift truck slowly moves in to open up a dumpster on the side of the road. But here's the kicker. This dumpster isn't full of trash. It's hiding something else inside it. It turns out a massive bear's been sleeping inside the dumpster all along. That said, this story's far from over, because even though the bear's been awoken, it's got no plans of actually leaving the cozy bin. Everyone watches in awe as the brown bear struggles to climb its way out of the dumpster. What's more, the beast is probably not happy about being awoken either, so there's real danger here as well.
I hope he's not hurt.
Bears walking into a yard is obviously scary, but the situation is way worse when your dog decides to get involved in the encounter, putting its life in danger as well.
Get out of here, Bear! Get out of here! Gus, get out of here! Gus, come! Get out of here, Bear!
There's panic everywhere as the man shouts at the bear, telling it to get out, while his dog frantically circles the front yard, getting way too close to the beast. It's not going to be easy to get out of this predicament.
Go on, get! Gus, come! Come here! Come here!
It all kicks off when the dog decides to go back and face the bear, and things get extremely close as the anxious bear tries to escape the yard. Only a miracle can prevent a tragedy here now. Bears can go to great lengths to find food in the wild, so much so that they can actually open car doors as well. And this bear in Tennessee has just hit the jackpot. The bear's busy searching the car for snacks as the owner helplessly watches from a distance. That said, the person filming has the perfect trick up their sleeve to fend off the bear without a dangerous encounter. And that's why you always lock your doors. If you spot a massive bear strolling in the middle of the road, the last thing you should do is stop your car right next to it. But these tourists don't seem to have gotten the memo. The fact that a bear doesn't charge you right away doesn't mean it's not aggressive. They are inquisitive creatures and don't attack without provocation. At the same time, however, it doesn't take much to anger them. Despite the calm demeanor, the bear looks absolutely famished and is probably searching for food, meaning this is not a good time to have fun with it. But the tourists do exactly that, and well, they're gonna regret it. Over in Cades Cove, Tennessee, tourists watch in fascination as a small bear wreaks havoc around a park. Don't let the bear's small size deceive you. These little guys are still capable of dealing some real damage. That said, the tourists are all out in the open, almost as if they don't even care about a potential bear attack. The bear isn't going to stand for this mockery and will take his revenge against all these people making fun of it. Although the little guy's method of revenge is perhaps a little strange. Speaking of bears wandering out of the wilderness, here's a terrifying scene as a massive black bear is not only roaming freely, but it's also face to face with a dog. It's arguably one of the biggest black bears you'll ever see, and it's so impressively huge that even the dog is perplexed, watching in utter awe rather than barking at it like most dogs would do in this situation. Being a fisherman in the forest isn't for the faint of heart, because most fishing spots are usually infested with bears trying to catch some fish of their own. With multiple bears on the horizon, the fisherman's life is in danger, and even though he retreats to create some space between himself and the bear family, his safety is not guaranteed. That said, he's about to make things worse for himself. It doesn't take a genius to figure out why you shouldn't mess with a mama bear and her cubs. After all, mother bears are extremely protective and will instantly attack anyone who poses a threat. So by throwing rocks at them, the fisherman is playing with fire.
Я хуй знает, что делать, они не уходят.
Bears don't always show up in dumpsters and forests. Sometimes they can also be uninvited guests at a 5-star resort. This guy, for instance, has just walked up to the front door of one in Aspen, Colorado. It's the middle of the night, so there's not much stopping the bear from breaking into the hotel, and if he does break in, there's probably food waiting for him inside. But this bear's smart. He is not going to disturb the patrons of the hotel at this hour. Wild bears seem to have an affinity for construction workers, because here's another example of a massive beast turning into an absolute sweetheart around these folks. Of course, the bear doesn't have any real connection with the workers other than the fact that they feed it. Plus, we've all seen just how dangerous bears can get once you run out of treats to give them.
Руки не подставляй.
Despite the danger, however, the workers aren't fazed by the bear at all. Sure, they might come to regret that decision, but not many people can say they made a wild bear do tricks and fed it with their own hand. Deep in the woods, a bear has been chasing a mule deer buck for a long time through the wilderness. But it's just not his day, because the deer's gone, and now the bear has turned his attention to another target. With the frustration of the deer running away, it's natural to assume that the bear's sizing up the person recording for an attack. After all, these are prideful animals. They don't back off so easily.
Hey!
Time stops for a moment as the bear stares deep into the man's soul, pondering if it should attack or not. But the truth is, the bear's not big enough to be dominant. Not to mention, the man seems to know what he's dealing with here.
Hey!
Over in the Great Bear Rainforest, a bunch of tourists are lined up next to a river, hoping to catch a glimpse of a grizzly coming through to catch some fish. And after hours of waiting, they finally struck gold. The bear is absolutely massive and walks in with the ego of an apex predator that rules the wilderness. Not to mention the bear has some battle scars, meaning it's probably seen plenty of action in its lifetime. The photographers have to be extremely careful because one erratic movement could result in the bear descending upon them with its full might. It's not every day you get to see a wild bear up close. This person in North Lake Tahoe, however, has just hit the jackpot because 2 bears have decided to walk into their backyard. The bears aren't aggressive at all. If anything, they look extremely polite, almost as if they're inspecting the area before moving on. In fact, they don't even stop on their way to look for food. They're just humble travelers. Speaking of bears walking into backyards, this one's a bit more dangerous because it's a black bear that definitely doesn't look friendly. If anything, this bad boy looks like he's out here trying to get into a fight. Now, in this situation, bears would usually come up to the door, see that it's closed, and leave. But this person actually has dogs inside the house, dogs that are very eager to go out and fight the bear. And that, folks, is a recipe for disaster. It all kicks off as the bear confronts the dogs through the door, and then runs off after things get a bit too loud for comfort. It's a close shave because things could have gone so much worse had the door not been forced shut.
Willie, stop.